So when God wants to make a man great, you know what he does? He puts him in complete solitude. He takes away the pleasures, he takes away the people, and this is where the hero's journey starts. And so when you isolate yourself, you're forced to reflect within. When you're distracted with all these different things in life, whether it's work, whether it's family, whether it's just fun and games, or just distraction of life, you don't get any introspection of yourself. And so when that time comes, when everything is stripped, what most men will do is they'll start blaming and complaining and projecting about themselves. It's a victimhood. But what God's really doing is he's saying, look, my son, it's time to isolate you. It's time for you to grow up. It's time for you to become a man. Because those features I recognize, those habits, those characteristics, those extremes, that's not masculine energy. That's not a man. Those are boyish tendencies. You know, boys are very sporadic. They're irrational. They're spontaneous. Very, very reactive to things. And I know myself, I still struggle with that at times, not as much as I used to. And so understand this, part of this hero's journey. So what is this hero's journey? It's when you go and you isolate yourself to reflect, and you go on this long trek, and then you fast. What's the deal with fasting? So in the old age, if you want to call it, men would go on trips. It's this boyhood to manhood. And basically they put you out, and you'd have to kind of figure it out. And if you came back, understanding how hard life really is. The struggles, the dangers, survival, all of these things, those are male characteristics, man characteristics of survival. And if you didn't come back, you couldn't make it, you couldn't hatch it. So these rites of passages are so important, because in this day and age right now, we are failing miserably. The rites of passage today that I went through, that most people are going through, is when's the first time you had and what's the first drink you had? That's awful. It's so debilitating and deteriorating. There's no value there. But what if you could go on this hero's journey, this rites of passage that says, go seek, go become, and come back to your people. But the only way you can do that is in isolation, in this introspection of yourself, of what am I doing? What do I need to do to get better? What are my failures? What are my faults? It's this, I talk about this all the time, this mirror in life. I need to be accountable to that. I need to look in the mirror. And then when you add that to this long trek, this long journey, like Jesus did it for 40 days and 40 nights in the desert, long journey, this destination that's unreachable in isolation. And the most fascinating part of this is when you fast. Fasting is this spiritual enlightenment. Because what fasting does is it takes away the major pleasure in life that we seek, which is food. It's the easiest, most addictive thing that we have out there. And when you take away that pleasure of the flesh, and you're forced to not eat, you become engaged and with spirit, with God. Because at that point, everything has left you, and all you have is faith, all you have is spirit, all you have is God to guide you. And this spiritual enlightenment is so powerful because it forces you also to realize that food isn't there for pleasure, it's there for fuel. It's there to keep your body going, but not keep it in gluttony or with pleasure all the time. When I went through this myself in 2020, the most remarkable thing that happened was the fasting wasn't the hardest part. That was actually the easiest part. The hardest part was sitting in solitude, in my mind, in my thoughts, for hours in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere. And part of the process of not eating was part of it. And then on top of that, I broke my leg. So I had, not there, but I broke it prior to going. So I was forced to sit in solitude, and I couldn't distract myself by walking around. I was literally forced to sit with Albert, with all these thoughts, with all these inhibitions, with this part of me who I didn't like. I was forced to look and say, how and what do I need to do to get better? What do I need to address now? Many of you are failing out there because you don't have the latitude or the time, or you haven't taken the time to go out, sit with yourself for hours. Get up in the morning and journal for yourself in the dark for hours. You have not had the ability to spend time with the most important person in this world, which is you. You have not been in touch with that person who is hurting, who is still hasn't recovered, is grieving still, but is maneuvering life through this facade of going to get, acquiring, getting more, credentials and certificates, as opposed to working with how can I get better? What do I need to do to get better? So why is this so important? Why is this topic so important? Is the self-discovery journey of this rites of passage, this hero's journey, is God will bless you. He will bless you by taking those things out of your life and forcing you to look within. I really want you to think about this and what you need to do to become the version of yourself that needs to get better. Let's go.